What is the law of time? The law of time is the name given to a body of mathematical and spiritual knowledge, which first became known to mankind in the end of the 20th century. The law of time was discovered in 1989, much in the same manner as other areas of knowledge were discovered and developed. To better understand the nature of the law of time, let's consider some other areas of knowledge and the time when humans began to learn about each one. Calculus was developed in the 17th century. Our awareness and study of galaxies began in the 18th century. And electromagnetism and the periodic table of the elements were developed in the 19th century. These examples of other areas of knowledge should help us to understand the nature of the law of time. Like calculus, the law of time deals with pre-existing mathematical realities. Like the periodic table, the law of time organizes pre-existing realities into structures and terms which are both new and human. This point is key to understanding the law of time because, like the elements in the periodic table, the law of time was neither created on Earth, nor does it apply only to Earth. Also, in both cases, visual and cognitive structures appropriate to the human being have been developed in recent decades through the advanced study and documentation of individuals devoted to these subjects. Let's imagine a non-human species on a distant planet, cataloging the basic materials which they find in the world around them. Presumably, they would be looking at many of the same elements which we see here on Earth. However, their concepts of language, science, and aesthetics would undoubtedly result in a visual representation different from our own periodic table. Nevertheless, if one could translate the two tables, the elements in common would be discoverable through the mathematics. Despite that the two cultures would have different systems of calculation and of numbering, the mathematical relationships between the different elements would remain the same in both tables, presuming, of course, that the laws of physics were similarly applicable in both places. Hopefully, this comparison with the periodic table makes the following easier to understand. The law of time is a body of knowledge with non-Earth origins, which was discovered by humans in the late 20th century. Like calculus, the law of time existed long before humans became aware of it. In the past 30 years, many books have been written on subjects related to the law of time. Nonetheless, the law of time is a body of knowledge extraordinarily vast, incredibly recent, and highly esoteric. For these reasons, it is little more likely for someone to have heard about the law of time than it is to have heard about the most recent developments in calculus. The law of time appears on Earth in this moment as an upgrade to the software of the human mind. From a galactic perspective, the law of time delineates that 2012 was the focal point of an epic process of planetary development. And the law of time discusses Earth's present position in time within the context of larger galactic and cosmic cycles. In this manner, the law of time contextualizes the assertion that Earth has recently completed a series of cycles, inevitably leading toward the emergence of a human race of significantly increased sapience. Time passes, wisdom and awareness grow. As a species, we cannot escape our evolution. The telepathic human is born. The telepathic community is awakening. We have become self-aware as participants in the biosphere, and through our growing self-awareness, we begin to experience a species-wide intimacy and empathy. Technologies such as the internet have greatly contributed toward the phenomena, but ultimately, it is the technology of the human brain itself which is reaching new heights. The law of time describes the evolution of consciousness in a galaxy with life as a process of increasing telepathy and synchronization between the different planets and their biospheres. The collective mental field of a planet with a biosphere is known as a noosphere, a term first coined by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin in 1922. According to the law of time, a unified telepathic mental field is a natural and inevitable stage in the development of consciousness on a planet with life. Organic matter, once conscious, experiences individuality through biology, but ultimately is moving in the direction of a unified planetary mind. Very recently, humanity has become sufficiently self-aware to truly realize itself as a planetary organism, scientifically and spiritually. Were we to truly assume our role as a planetary entity designed for simultaneous Earth and self-preservation, we could elevate the overall functioning of our planet in a way which would literally define a new era, geologically, psychologically, and anthropologically. At this turning point, the immense system of the law of time arrives from off-world as an invitation to mankind to enter into the galactic community. The community of advanced galactic civilizations communicates telepathically and mathematically, as telepathy and mathematics are two elements of reality which transcend language and location. The law of time is a non-Earth-based knowledge, which has recently been channeled into forms appropriate to the human mind, so that we may begin to comprehend a galactic and mathematical language of telepathy. Ultimately, the purpose of this timely upgrade to the operating system of the human organism is to make possible our increasing participation as representatives of Earth within the greater galactic community. For want and need of improvement in the physical and mental state of Earth's biosphere, the relevance and power of the knowledge of the law of time cannot be overstated. The purpose of this channel is to provide succinct introductions and tutorials related to the basic elements of the mathematical and spiritual knowledge known as the law of time. As much as possible, the videos will be interactive, with printable resources provided in PDF. Before we part today, let's break this down into smaller parts, so that you can develop a better idea of what to expect in future videos. The law of time is an extremely large knowledge base. Broadly, however, it can be understood as a system which incorporates whole number, the decimal mathematics, astronomy and non-terrestrial archetypal astrology, syntropic cosmology, meaning a scientific view of the universe as infinitely increasing in energy, and fractalized timekeeping, that is, the observation of layered cycles within the evolutionary processes of stars, planets, species, solar systems, and so on. Fundamentally, the law of time brings these and other areas of knowledge together in a way which contextualizes the timelines of multiple evolutionary processes, providing an advanced mathematical structure for viewing complex relationships between events on many different scales of time and space in a simple manner. Just as traditional mathematics are manifested in measurements and tools such as ounces and rulers, the vigesimal mathematics contained within the law of time also exist in both conceptual and physical forms. By learning to use the language and tools related to vigesimal mathematics, humans come into contact with mental spaces populated by advanced civilizations throughout the galaxy which use such mathematics as a form of telepathic communication and synchronization. I leave you today with a quote from the Cosmic History Chronicles, Volume 4, Book of the Initiation. What must be brought to light in an objective way is a structure of cosmic evolution, intelligence, and mind that accommodates various vocabularies and perspectives in establishing a new science or knowledge previously unknown. This new science or knowledge is a type of synchro-cosmology, meaning that the evolutionary path of the human mind is to synchronize itself with the different levels of cosmology that define those different perspectives. To do this in a way that may be useful for the educational program of the new human living in the new time is the final purpose of the entire study of cosmic history. To unify science, theology, cosmology, and synchronometric science as a whole system, which defines the actual evolutionary psychology of the spirit, is to arrive at the most enlightened synthesis we can imagine. This is our goal. This is Solar Dreamer signing off. I work in humble hope of service toward the future of Earth and of Earthlings. Please receive my gratitude and above all, my love.